everybody. Welcome to the Web3 Business Podcast brought to you by Tokomize. My name is Rob, and as always, we are creating content by and for industry professionals to help you set up the most successful Web3 project or succeed with your Web3 project, providing inspirational, educational information. So, as usual, I have today my colleagues Edgar and Kay. Welcome, guys.
Hi everyone.
Everyone.
And we have a special guest, Yog from Farmsent, which is a ecosystem focused on facilitating for trading, finance, and traceability for farmers through the blockchain. Welcome, Yog.
Hello, everyone.
All right, let's kick this off. Edgar, I think you had a question lined up.
Yep. So let's start first. Does FarmSent have its own blockchain, or it's under an existing blockchain, or does it operate in multiple blockchains?
We have aims to do our own chain eventually, but in the interim, we are working with Polygon. We just signed a partnership with Peak Network because there are different aspects of this as well. We are a deep in ecosystem for farmers, so it requires a lot of sensor data for traceability system. So we felt that it's better to work with existing ecosystems first, and then at some point of time, when we are, we know what our roadmap, we can think of making our own.
Okay. So do you consider a FarmSent a agricultural supply chain?
A part of it, yes. So how does FarmSent basically work? Like many systems have tried to focus on food security, right? Which is, optimizing the supply chain and looking at storage solutions, packaging, and in procuring foods and so many things, right? What we are trying basically is one aspect where we know that the robotic farming has few years to come. It's not like going to change tomorrow, right? Still humans are involved, and those are farmers. They are growing the maximum percentage of food. So we're taking a human-centric aspect. We think that if we can add value in terms of their earning, then farming will be lucrative. In markets like Southeast Asia, Asia as a whole, and in Africa, farmers are not rich. Because they are not rich, they are doing side jobs than farming. So you will see that in a years to come, if we don't fix this, people will not be liking to be a farmer. So what we are trying is, by optimizing the middlemen between the farmer and consumer, we are trying to bring more money for farmer and making the commodity price low for the consumer. That's the whole idea. So yes, we can be called as agriculture supply chain, but part of our implementation can be that.
Okay. So basically, you're solving two problems: helping the farmers and lowering the price for the consumers. My other question is, what are the security threats you encountered while you implement this the FarmSent, and what steps do you have to mitigate these security threats?
You see, the entire agriculture supply chain is very opaque. $1 coffee in Indonesia becomes $12 in Dubai. No one knows how, right? You only know the retail price, which is either sold by a retail shop or an online shop near your area, right? As a consumer, what is missing is how this product had changed hands. So we started beta testing a product called DEPS, which we have developed. We call it a decentralized product passport. We feel that each product needs to have details about its origin, how it was grown, how it was procured, how it was stored, how it was, part of the supply chain, how it was stored in retail place, and so on and so forth, right? In that way, there will be a QR code on this product front. Consumer can scan and find complete details, the end-to-end journey of the product, right? So they can take informed decision. When you walk into a store like say Starbucks, suppose you are buying coffee, you have no idea what the coffee is about, right? All thing you are doing is trusting the brand Starbucks and hoping that they have put good coffee in your cup, right? We want to change that. We want to say that you don't need to trust, you need to verify. And how you can verify? You need to know end-to-end journey of the product. And that's how we look at food security in a different sense.
Okay. Thank you for that, Yog. So, one last question. How do you balance the need for transparency with the need for data privacy, especially regarding the sensitive informations?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah. So, how do you balance the need for transparency with the need for data privacy, especially regarding sensitive information?
You see what happens right now, all the data, whatever is procured, everything is out there with centralized players, right? There is no guarantee that the central player is actually meeting the commitment they have done to data security, right? Every tranche of data we are procuring, it is on chain, and only the authorized person or the wallets can only able to access those data. That means you can contribute data collectively, but you still need to know whether you are the right person to procure data. For example, in our traceability system, the targeted customer has to have the QR code to consume the data, right? Because these are all hashed to that particular address, right? So various other things, but in general, the macro picture is centralized entity means data is appearing to be secure, but in long run it is not. And decentralized data is secure and it is accountable at least.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Yog. And yeah, I guess that's it for all my questions. Thank you.
Okay, do you have anything to jump in on there?
Yep. Okay. Hi, Yog. So for the marketing side, first for the target market or target audience you have. So with FarmSense primary target audience, we have different types of farmers, right? So small scale, those that are big players or wholesalers. And how are you planning to achieve widespread adoption amongst those different types of farmers?
That's a very good question. Um, so you know that procuring farmers to retail means and retail marketing is expensive. Okay, so we took the approach of B2G. We are approaching the government, and with the help of the government, we are negotiating with societies. You know, so you can do large scale onboarding, right? Because most Asian countries and African countries started to form these agriculture societies, cooperative societies, kind of like that, right? So 1,000 and odd farmers typically come together and they form this entity and report to the Ministry of Agriculture. We felt it is better, we work with the government, and through that we can onboard our target audience, which is these cooperative societies and eventually the farmers, right? We have onboarded 160,000 farmers as our sample case and looking forward to do 2 million farmers, and these all going to be with the help of the government.
All right. And then what channels are you using to onboard those farmers?
Uh,
And yeah.
Yeah, this is a bit of a manual work because you are working with the government. Government is giving data, and you are having physical events actually to take them through the education process, how to onboard, right? So We don't do advertising and marketing kind of things to onboard them because that part hasn't started. Our initial onboarding will be still with the help of the government, but after we are a substantial marketplace, we just open it for anyone to self onboard it. For that reason, we are building a on-chain abstraction wallet first, because it's very difficult for farmer, like I was telling the other day, that if you talk about seed, that the farmer understands that seed is to put on ground to grow some food and not the seed phrase, right? So they are not going to store those seed phrase as you and we are doing at the moment. So we are making these facilities so simpler that the farmer is not aware that it is actually blockchain. We don't want to make them know that you have to sign a transaction and stuff like that, right? We are making it very Web2 style, and so we are going to launch a TLD of our own, .farms, and then on-chain account abstraction wallet attached to this Web3 identity, and to simplify things. And post that, when we are sure that this can be taken to mass, we will be, hopefully we'll get approval from our good friend Google and Apple, so that there will be a simple app facing the farmer, so they can self onboard. But at the moment, we are just working with the government and cooperative societies.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Yog, for that. And then one last question I have in mind, because I also came from family of farmers on my mother's side. In here in the Philippines, in the north, there are a lot of farmers, and mostly our relatives are really migrating into the city. So, like, I'm not sure with the data, but like a lot of especially the generation now are not interested in agricultural. So how are you addressing that challenge, especially that um those are like simple typical web 2, and now you're jumping them in a web 3, and then so how are you going to address that challenge of less and lesser of numbers of farmers we have now?
This is not an issue only with Philippines. Actually, what you have highlighted is a widespread issue. The 38 million farmers are there in Indonesia, and 2 million farmers every 4 years leave farming. A staggering number.
Yes.
And I mean, nothing against our new generation, but our new generation are trained to believe that food comes from their retail store. Okay? And that's not going to happen, right? So what we are trying to do is we are addressing the root cause. Why farming is not lucrative. That guy who's leaving the village and going to the cities for alternative, right? He's going because farming doesn't give him return. If farming is going to give him return, he will stay with his own people, right? And so countries like Philippines, India, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, or Thailand, these are heavy agriculture dominant countries. So suddenly these guys didn't think that agriculture is not giving them return. Over a period of time, we have failed as a society to give them the equity from these agriculture commodities. So our plan is to change that by giving them more value, right? So when we give them more value, they will prefer to do agriculture. And apart from that, there are other entities working to bring better agriculture technology so that they will be more profitable. More storage facilities are coming, more packaging opportunities are coming. So everybody is working towards that. We are working farmer-centric, what we can do to bring them better value for their commodity, and hopefully we'll restore that.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Yog, for that. So that's for my side, Rob.
Yeah, to jump in on that, right? Like what you guys are just talking about in terms of kind of also motivating the farmers, bringing them also into the Web3 space. What you're doing, right? Offering the benefits of this new technology. You mentioned, your focus on facilitating trades, and then of course financing, and the traceability, which obviously trading and finance is highly in the benefits of the farmer. Are there also other things on your roadmap that this new technology, facilitates, basically, helping the farmers, for example, through, asset tokenization, things like that? Maybe there's opportunities for fractionalizing sort of things. I'm just throwing some terms here now, but I can imagine maybe there's something in your mind that you figured, hey, this could be great to actually boost the capabilities for the farmers.
No, absolutely. The roadmap is the wish list and roadmap is full. So we have already tested a yield tokenization, which basically, I think I probably would correlate this more in countries like Philippines, India, Indonesia. You will see that the struggle is with liquidity. If you just walk into the farmer and say that I'll buy all your commodity, what percentage you will give as a discount if I pay cash? Most likely in Asia and in Africa, you'll get 15 to 20% discount, right? Reason, the farmer is struggling for liquidity and he wants to just dispose the commodity as fast as possible, right? So what we realize that if we make the farmer feel comfortable with his finance by bringing investment, right? So we said, this is your field of 1 acre, for example, and you commit with a yield tokenization sharing plan with your investor. So he pays for your, whatever your requirements are, right? So we did a test and it really worked in Indonesia, although this is illegal right now. We're working with the regulators. Back then there was no regulator on it. We tested it, but right now we are working with the regulator to ensure that this tokenization works, so that fresh investment can come into agriculture. Whether it is, and as Rob mentioned, might be agriculture, land tokenization will be the next step. Also, we are working ways how we can pay the farmer faster. Now, farmer doesn't have liquidity to wait for your 90 days payment period or till the shipment arrives at the destination, right? So we are working with the trade financing companies, so we can take that hit from buyer side and pay as fast as possible. As soon as the farmer gives the goods, it's a quality assurance company, quality assures that this is matching the specification farmer agreed with the buyer, and then the payment is released through an escrow contract, right? We are hoping to work with Circle on it, and at the moment we are doing a proof of concept with MasterCard to facilitate these payment processes, basically. So yeah, and then in our DPIN, which we are working with Peak Network, is to give a lot of data to farmer through sensors, so they can upgrade themselves, and those data we can contribute back to the traceability system I talked to you about. For that, we are doing a co-host plan. So you sitting somewhere, you can co-host a sensor or a group of sensors for a farmer, and that helps a farmer to know what's going on with his crop, but he's not investing it. And as you know that with a traceable product, the income or the value of the product increases 10 to 15%. And that amount we can share between the co-host and the farmer. So in that way, we are creating these small little innovations of tokenization to help both farmer and the investor.
Right. And I noticed, quite recently, I think 1 or 2 months ago, you applied some of the infrastructure of Chainlink. Can you tell us a little bit more how you leverage that technology?
Yeah, so basically what happens, as I said, that the farmer is going to wait for 90 days to receive payments, generally in their payment terms. We want to speed that process. So the buyer generally are skeptical whether the farmer has given the shipped the same goods they promised, right? So what we do, we create escrow contract, and which is going to automatically release the amount. Basis of what? On the basis of the data which is accumulated by Chainlink, the shipment is done, right? So Chainlink gives this data saying shipment is done, I have verified. Now the escrow can release the payment meant for the farmer. So without anyone's involvement, the payment gets released as soon as the shipment is left the station.
Right. Okay. So it's Chainlink's role is that it provides this kind of oracle function if the shipment is being delivered, basically.
Correct. Besides that, we are working on proof of reserve, for example, which is a crucial thing for trade finance. There are a lot of LC frauds happening, right? So whether there is actually amount or not, all those kind of things. But importantly, this part is very important for our supply chain, that shipment is done, so the farmer doesn't have to wait for his money. He can get paid, and it feels like easier. And now we're working on even off-ramp partners so that the farmer can quickly switch to his own fiat currency if he wants to, all within the space of same day. So within 24 hours payment is done, and that's faster than even the manual trade they are doing, right? It takes some time for them to receive payment, but here in this case, same day settlement. And hopefully in future, once all the countries comply and there is liquidity of the local stable coins, which likely to happen in Indonesia as well, it will speed up. Colombia has already done a local stable coin. We're looking forward, most of these countries will eventually do their local version of stable coin, so you just add liquidity and then settle the payment immediately.
Excellent. We're almost running at the end here. Ed and Kay, do you guys have any other final questions for Yog?
On my side, it's all good. Thank you, Yog.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think it's all good on my side. Thank you.
All right, I've got one other one that we asked all of our guests, right? So Yog, you've been doing this project for almost 3 years. You've been a co-founder before that as well. Is there any tips that you can give to fellow, founders, entrepreneurs in the Web3 space, how to succeed and what kind of challenges to expect, and kind of any tips for them that could help them with their success in the space?
Yeah, I mean, because we are working a lot towards the Web 2, right? And the Web 3 is perceived to be the notorious kid in the room, right? So I would say work with the government and not against. Don't be a cowboy. Just negotiate well with the regulators, and they are here for a reason, and you just need to respect that. They should exist or not is not the question. They are there, so you just have to navigate through. And most of the regulators I have observed, whether it is in Dubai, in UAE, or Indonesia, which is going to next year creating a new body of regulator, they're willing to take steps. It's not that they are here to just put things down. They are here to talk to you. So go ahead and put your plan with clarity and be honest with your plan. So that's one. And in this ecosystem, I think with all the founders, what I noticed, I have asked for help and I have received. So just ask help, and as well as help other founders. So if anyone pings me, I would love to help them whatever I have learned, and I'm continuously learning.
So we will be sure to put your socials in this podcast, obviously, so people can reach out to you, contact you, know how to find you, follow you, of course, on X as well. And good to hear you're open for mentoring. That's definitely helping everybody in the space to learn. Well, thank you so much, Yog, for this time. I appreciate you being here. Thanks, Edgar and Kate, too, and see you all next time. Goodbye.
Thank you,
Mm.
guys.